Welcome to today's session on the data mining. In today's session, we will be discussing about extracting the knowledge discovery from the data. So, basically we will be discovering the knowledge from the huge amount of data we have at hand. This is the major focus of today's session, apart from other things that are related to data mining. And the target group is MCA learners, BCA final year students, as well as all PhD students, MPhil students, whoever are doing research in this area of data mining. And as it was already mentioned, our reference book is The Data Mining Concepts and Techniques by Han Kember and Jian Pei, and we acknowledge their work in our presentation. Earlier, we have seen what is data mining, why data mining is needed, and a multi-dimensional view of the data mining, as well as what are the functions involved in the data mining. Now, we will be carrying ahead from that point with a brief roundup of whatever we have been about data mining in the earlier sessions. You can see the knowledge discovery process from the data. There are several steps in it. First thing is you need to have a database. That database is having a lot of data, and when we are seeing a lot of data, we are quantifying it. We are saying a lot of data, a huge amount of data. But at the same time, in that data, there may be some data that needs to be taken off because existence of that particular data in the database is not desirable, as it is meaningless as well as not having any value. For example, let me say, consider a table, a record, where you have a field called pin code. Now, all valid pin codes are fine, but somebody is entering all zeros, then that particular data is not desired to exist in the database. So, there will be cleaning of database or cleaning of data inside the database, so that only that data which does not have any such wrong data or invalid input is considered for further processing. So, first thing is a database is needed, then we clean the data and we place it in the data warehouse, and after placing the data in the data warehouse, we will be focusing on that relevant data. For example, if we are considering a traffic management data of a city, let me for example consider Delhi itself. You have a huge data because you have a large number of vehicles, so there is a huge database. But my data analysis focus only on the two-wheelers. Then let us not consider all the records in the database which are having information about a four-wheeler, about a two-wheeler, about a three-wheeler, about heavy vehicles, all those things. So, we have to get the relevant database out, in the sense that relevant data out of the database. So, that is task relevant data. Once we get the task relevance data, we have to apply the data mining algorithms on it. Data mining algorithms are the algorithms which will be giving us the patterns that can be recognized from this task relevant data. So, once you get the patterns, for example, the patterns may be that so many people not wearing a helmet, or people wearing a particular color of helmet, children not wearing helmets, people standing on a two-wheeler, small children in the front, or more than two people sitting on the two-wheeler. So, there may be n number of patterns that are possible. Now, once we apply data mining algorithms, you get the patterns out. So, once you get the patterns, we have to evaluate the patterns, whatever patterns we got. From those patterns, we get the knowledge. So, if you look at the bottommost, we have a database, and at the top, we have the knowledge. So, from the data in the database, we are getting knowledge, and all the steps in between are shown. This is basically a view from a typical database system and a data warehousing communities. And data mining plays an essential role in the knowledge discovery process. Now, let us briefly go through various steps that were shown in the earlier slide, but some steps are not shown there, so that we can understand them better by not showing in a figure. Consider data cleaning. In data cleaning, we will be removing the noise as well as inconsistent data. So what is this noise? What is inconsistent data? For example, consider that there is a person who is using a credit card and every month he is spending some money, and suddenly in 1 month there is a huge spend. So when you look at the entire graph, we'll find that there is one value completely different from the earlier values, and we don't expect such value in the future also. So this particular value is inconsistent with the existing values. The other is data integration, where we have multiple data sources and these data sources are to be combined so that we are integrating the data inside them. For example, you consider a portal, consider a website. For example, consider an Amazon, consider a Flipkart, consider an airlines website. People are making reservations from a number of places across the world. And even before advent of the web, you consider a very huge library management system. You have several entry points to a library in the case of some university libraries. At every entry, you will have a computer. So multiple sources of data is being fed to that particular system. So these multiple sources of data, we have to combine them into a single source so that the entire data is put in a single database and can be processed. So that is what is meant by data integration. In data integration, we have multiple data sources and they have to be combined. Then we have data selection. The data that is relevant to the analysis tasks has to be retrieved from the database. For example, if we continue with the same example of a library management system, in a library management system, we will have books pertaining to all the classes, all the programs, higher education programs, school education, whatever it is. Now, suppose I am interested only in one segment, higher education. Then I should not consider the data that is not belonging to higher education for analysis. So we have to focus on the task relevant data. So there should be a way out of marking such data and only consider that data for application of the algorithms to get the necessary knowledge. Otherwise, the algorithm will run on the entire data and it's wastage of time that algorithm runs, and then ultimately it considers only relevant data. So rather than running the algorithm directly on the entire data, let us make the task relevant data separate and then run the algorithms. Then we have data transformation. In the data transformation, data are consolidated into forms appropriate for mining by performing summary or aggregation operations. I will just give one example so that one can understand it. We have data, and before applying data mining to this particular data, we have to make some pre-processing. We have to do some pre-processing on this data so that this data is ready for application of data mining algorithms. To take a real life example, for example, we have a washing machine. So the clothes are to be prepared to be washed by the washing machine. It's not possible that you just throw the clothes into the washing machine and expect it to do the job. So the clothes should be prepared first, which is called pre-processing, and then put in the washing machine and switch it on so that the processing of the clothes take place. The same is the case of data mining also. Whenever we are applying data mining to data, the data has to be pre-processed, and then the data that is available after pre-processing should be applied data mining algorithms to get the relevant knowledge. And ultimately, data mining, it's an essential process where intelligent methods are applied to extract data patterns. So these are some of the definitions that we have undergone when we are looking at taking knowledge from the data in the database. Now let us go through the KDD process in a bit detail. It is a view from machine learning and statistics. So from the two disciplines point of view, let us go through the KDD process. Here, first of all, for any data processing task, we have to give some input data. But in the case of data mining or in the case of extraction of knowledge from data, normally the inputs are going to be huge. Of course, if the database size is very small, even then there is no problem, but the knowledge what you get is not going to be huge. So first of all, the input data, and that data has to be pre-processed. In the process of pre-processing the data, several tasks are done. Some of data integration, normalization, feature selection, and dimension reduction. Feature selection means selecting some inputs that are meaningful from a lot of inputs for processing and analysis. For example, let me say there are 1 crore inputs. We have to extract knowledge from the data. Though we have 1 crore inputs, ultimately most of the inputs are similar. So we have to find out what are the distinct inputs, what are the distinct type of inputs. So the values of inputs may vary, but they are similar. Means for all these types of inputs, the output is going to be the same, or knowledge extracted is going to be the same, or the pattern that we are going to get is the same. So what we have to do is, we have to remove portions of input data where the data ultimately is going to give the same result. Now all these portions of data, after removal of similar types of data, we have to give input, and then we have to run the data mining algorithm, and then we will be getting the patterns which can be evaluated for the knowledge. This is known as the feature selection. Then normalization. Normalization means it's basically a scaling technique or a mapping technique or a pre-processing stage. It provides linear transformation on the original group of data so that we get some data that needs to be considered. So this is what is meant by the normalization. We should not mistake the normalization with the normal forms, that is first normal form, second, third, fourth and fifth, as well as BCNF normal forms. Those normal forms are applied on the data that is available and is put in the table, and those normal forms, each normal form will be performing one task, so that ultimately we get the data which is free from redundancy, which is consistent and which is having lot of integrity. That normalization is different and this normalization is different. Then we have to go to the dimension reduction. In the case of dimension reduction, it is the process of reducing number of random variables under consideration by obtaining a set of principal variables. As long as you have a random nature of the data, the output is going to be very dynamic. So any pattern which we extract from the data and apply algorithms and then evaluate them for knowledge is not going to be stable, because there is a lot of random variables in it. Random variables take different values at different times, and there are algorithms which generate these random values. So we cannot basically focus on the result that is obtained. So these are the 4 primary tasks that are performed in the data pre-processing. One is data integration, the other is normalization, third one is feature selection, and the fourth one is dimension reduction. Now let's move to the next step in the KDD process. The next step is data mining. So once we pre-processed the data, we are having the final data on which we can apply the data mining algorithms. In the data mining section, or where we apply data mining algorithms, we'll have pattern discovery, we'll have apply association and correlation algorithms, classification, clustering, and we'll be doing the outlier analysis. In the case of pattern discovery, there are several types of pattern discoveries that are possible, and we have to take several approaches for discovering the patterns. For example, we have what is called K-optimal pattern discovery. That is one type. Then also we have frequent pattern discovery. That is another type. So we have different types of pattern discoveries. So this particular step, data mining, in which we do the pattern discovery, will be applying some approach to get the patterns. Now let us go through the association. Association is a data mining function that discovers the probability of the co-occurrence of the items in a collection. The relationships between co-occurring items are expressed as association rules, and association rules are often made to analyze the sales transactions. So here what we do is, in the association, for each data item, we will be associating with some category. For example, let me say there are a lot of children, and some children are of 5th standard, some children are of 6th standard, like that. So, all children who are studying 5th standard are associated with the class 5. All children who are studying the 6th standard are associated with class 6. So, we will be making such associations in this particular step, and then we will be applying the correlations to them to get the output. Then we have to perform the task of clustering. In the case of clustering, what we have to do is that clusters means basically we are having small groups. You have a lot of clustering, and in the clusters what happens is you have data that is similar. When we have data that is similar, what we have to do is the similar data has to be grouped. So, whatever data we get, we are looking them at the graph, and we find that for example, consider a Milky Way. In the case of a Milky Way, you can find groups of stars. So, you have a group of stars here, then you have a couple of stars or one star somewhere, and then again you have a group of stars, like that. So, we should be in a position to mark the group, and once you have these groups marked, we can define them as clusters. So, clustering has to be done in this particular data mining section. The other is outlier analysis. Now, outlier analysis is something basically whenever the behavior of an object is not in tune with the existing objects, then we have to ignore it. So, the objects that are not behaving the same way or behaving in a very, very different way are called outliers. For example, consider a class. There is an average height. It can be a 5'1", it can be a 5'2", whatever it is. But then you have a very tall person in the class. So, basically he is an outlier. And again you may have a very short person in the class. He is an outlier. And an example I have already given of credit cards. I am spending every month some particular amount of money, and suddenly I spend huge amount, which is maybe 5 to 6 times of my monthly spend. That value is outlier. Now, suppose a credit analysis is being done. They have to remove that item because it is once in a while item. At the same time, in some cases, people may be interested more in the case of outliers. The reason for getting interested in the case of outliers is that there is something in it, something abnormal. For example, law enforcement agencies, police departments, they will be focusing on the outliers so that they can find the reasons for different type of behavior and take necessary steps. The next section here is the post processing. In the post processing, we have to evaluate the pattern, we have to select the pattern, we have to interpret the pattern, then we have to visualize the pattern. Evaluation of the pattern, it can be done in multiple ways. You have different algorithms for it. Then ultimately we have to select a pattern which we think is the real output of application of the data mining algorithms. Then we have to interpret the patterns. After interpreting the patterns, one way is that we need to visualize the pattern. So, the patterns can be displayed using graphical interfaces so that the pattern is very much clearly understandable. For example, any complex data, when visualization is applied, you can really get the meaning out of that particular pattern. So, we apply the data visualization techniques to get the visualization of the pattern, and ultimately we get the knowledge. So, it is the pattern which is leading you to the knowledge. So, different steps in the KDD processor. First we take the data as input, then we apply data pre-processing steps, then we apply the data mining algorithms, then we get the patterns out of it, we process the patterns, then we get the knowledge. So, thank you very much for attending the today's session. This particular topic, knowledge discovery from data, will be carried out in some more sessions so that we can go more in detail in all these processes. Thank you very much.